I'm Carey White. I live in San Francisco, and the way that I got in touch with Livable, California was that I was walking out of a Starbucks one day and I saw a headline that they're going to be building 100-foot buildings everywhere around the city. My neighborhood, your neighborhood, wherever they chose. And the ostensible reason was that we have a housing shortage. But the real reason, once I looked into it, was that they simply want to have more developers build more housing at any price, at any cost, anywhere. And I thought that that was wrong. I thought that the community ought to be able to make its own decisions and to think about this in a carefully considered way. And I found Livable, California, and realized that there are other people that feel the same way and would like to do something about that. We have a disconnect between what's going on locally in our cities and in our communities and what the state is focused on. What we find is that we don't feel that the state is responding to our concerns. We think that the state seems to be off on its own agenda. And the more that we drill into that, the more that we discover that the same interests that are influencing our city council, particularly in San Francisco, but we see this in other cities as well, which are real estate interests, tech interests, are also influencing the state level. And it makes us feel disenfranchised. It makes us feel that we have no hope to be able to get our issues out to the state government. And whether that's homelessness, whether that's school systems, whether that's infrastructure, we think that all of this is being preempted by the desire of very wealthy interests to continue to make even more money. In 5 years, if Livable California were successful, we would have connections throughout the state with people who also believe that communities ought to be able to determine their own destiny, who believe that citizens ought to be involved, and that the politicians that they elect shouldn't, once they are elected, just go off and forget where they came from, but who ought to be connected back to those communities. If Livable California were as successful as we want it to be, people would really believe they are in charge of their destiny again, and that they can do something about it. I am so inspired to see that I'm not alone, that there are others that believe this exact same thing about communities and about the future that we can make for California. And Livable California has shown me that citizens just like me are in every community.